Hello, always Dizzy here, back with my recap from round 3 from the 2024 BC Open. Um, as a refresher, I lost my first round against a 1300, and then I won the second round against another 1300, I think. I forget. I don't have his rating here. And so this was day 2 of the event. Actually, I managed to sleep a bit. Often I have trouble sleeping at tournaments. I often only sleep like 2 or 3 hours, but I was actually able to sleep. Woke up with a bit of a sore jaw because the hotel pillows are weird, but overall had a decent sleep. And yeah, I was white against Abigail Wang. Hopefully I'm pronouncing it right. I think it's pronounced Wang and not Wang. And yeah, so she was rated 1431. She was maybe around 13 or 14 years old. Hard to say. Hard to say, but yeah, I would guess 13 or 14. Yeah, I don't think there's much else to say. So let's take a look. I have the game in front of me in case I need to refer to the clock time. Reading my notes here as well in case you see me dart my eyes off this way. I guess I did some light preparation the night before, but her openings were not too great and they didn't go too deep, so there wasn't really much for me to review. Yeah. Okay. So I opened with E4, and somebody mentioned in the comments earlier today of the last video, if I could maybe explain more of what I was thinking during the games. Yeah, I will try to do that. The games so far haven't been overly complicated or wild, so there wasn't too much of that. But yeah, I'll try to keep that in mind. And she responded with E5, and I played knight F3. So, nothing to talk about here, so I won't. Knight C6, bishop B5, A6 again. I mean, what am I supposed to say? There's nothing to be said. So we have the Roy Lopez, bishop A4, bishop C5. So it's very interesting. This line is very, very popular amongst a certain core of younger kids or younger opponents. Because I've faced a lot of kids who play this as black. So I'm wondering if like their chess school or coach teaches them this, because it's amazing how many kids play this against me. I remember for a while, around like 2019, yeah, kind of around 2019-ish, the London was super popular. Every kid was playing the London. But yeah, I've faced this as white so many times. I'm not sure if this is the main Archangel or like a variant of it, but yeah, it's very popular amongst kids. Got my decaf coffee here. Okay, so I played C3, and she played B5, which I forget. I forget if that's the main response. I forget, but yeah, it seemed okay. I played bishop B3. And yeah, I thought here for just a little bit, not very long, maybe a minute at the most. Let's see. Yeah, exactly a minute. So white has two choices, right? To go to C2 or to B3. But bishop B3 gives black some chances to screw up. So I tend to like that. Bishop C2 defends E4. So later on, it's easier to do transfers like knight BD2 while having the E4 pawn defended. But yeah, bishop B3 can be tricky because if black tries something like knight A5, then white can play bishop takes F7 check. And after king takes f7, white has b4, winning a pawn and disrupting black's king. And there's other moves as well. I think also there's like, I think bishop d5 is even good, c6, and then taking on f7, and even things like knight e5 I think works. And if after bishop b3, if black plays something, there's some other ways for black to get into trouble here too. So overall, I prefer it on b3. My opponent played knight f6, and then it's kind of embarrassing what happened next. So just want to see if I'm missing anything from my notes here. What's annoying is that I've had this position countless times as white, and I didn't play the move that I always play. I think part of it was, most of it was just, part of it was probably playing a little bit on autopilot. And then part of it, I think, is just the 3D aspect of it. I think I just got a little bit confused about the 3D, and I didn't take my time to consider what the position was in front of me. So in the game, I castled here. But the much better move, it's about winning. I think it's like close to +2 here, is d4, which again, I've played a million times before. But I don't know. I'm getting old, or I don't know. I wasn't careful. But I castled. I mean, castling is still fine for white, but d4 is essentially winning. I use the word winning pretty freely. It doesn't mean like it's mate and 5, but for me, winning is like +1.5. For me, that's winning. It doesn't mean I can convert it all the time, but for me, that means that to me, that's like a winning position. So I castled here, and then, let me just read my notes here. Well, and let me just show the reason why. So d4, if knight takes e5, I think. Well, sorry, we just take the bishop. Yeah. So if e takes d4, then we can go cd, I believe, or e5. I think they transpose. And then this is just terrible for black. If knight g4, I think we just go cd, and then this knight is misplaced. And if black moves the bishop back somewhere to a7 or b6, I'm trying to remember. I think we just take on e5, and I think actually knight takes e5 is best, if I remember correctly, over de. I don't remember why. Oh yeah, because we're hitting f7, and then if knight takes here, we have bishop or queen d5. Oh no, he's hitting f2. No, even then I think we can do it. I think we can still do this, and like the check doesn't matter. We just move the king. So, that was unfortunate that I just simply castled. And then here, my opponent thought for quite a long time. She thought for 7 minutes, and she was extremely tempted to play the most tempting move of knight takes e4. And I know that for a few reasons. One, I talked to her the next day. I was talking to somebody else, and I guess she was friends with somebody else I know. And then we were waiting in line at McDonald's, and then we talked a little bit, and I asked her. But first of all, she thought for a very long time. So that meant that she had to have been considering knight takes e4. And then the most obvious reason why I knew she was thinking about it, she literally put her hand over my pawn. She almost picked it up. She was thinking, and this was after like 3 or 4 minutes of thinking, She, but then she kept thinking, and she ultimately didn't take the pawn. And it's good that she didn't, because this is a mistake. And I wasn't sure how I was going to respond. I was thinking possibly bishop d5. That's not bishop d5. Possibly bishop d5 might have been good. Although I think the computer said no, because we did just lose a pawn. And so I think it's just equal after knight f6. Even though we get a pawn back, but we don't gain anything out of it. Whoops. Oh, shoot. Sorry. Well, you know what she played. But yeah, knight takes e4. I think the best move is just... oh, shoot. I didn't even... like, when I castled here, I didn't even calculate my response. But I just know from experience, these positions, black can never take the pawn. Like, it's never good. I wonder if it's knight takes e5 or just or queen e2. Let me put on the engine. I actually forget, and I'm too lazy to calculate right now. Yeah, queen e2 or d4. Oh yeah, d4, queen e2, queen e1 are all good. Those are the top moves. Actually, queen e2 or d4. So let me turn off the engine. So d4 if takes... I think eventually, yeah, so we sever this connection, and then we can play rook e1 or queen on the e file. So something like this, and then if black tries to defend it, did I play that optimally? Let me better put back on the end. But I don't know if I played that optimally. I guess I did. There's two winning moves here. There's bishop takes d5, and there's bishop g5. But I'm curious about this line. Oh, and then knight c3. Yeah, I don't know. Like, there's multiple ways to win. There's multiple winning ways there. So yeah, if knight takes e4, there's d4, and there's queen e2. And I'm not sure if I looked at d4. No, yeah, I looked at d4. Yeah, and I didn't look at queen e2. But if queen e2, d5, I don't know. Maybe knight e5. Maybe d4 now, or d3 even. Right? Yeah. So none of it looks great for black. Whoops. In any case, after a long think, my opponent didn't want to take the risk of taking on e4, and she castled, which I think is the best move. And then I played d4. And then my opponent made a mistake here. She took on d4. I wonder if she thought that the critical or a critical moment has just passed, and then she kind of let off the gas. Because she did, after her 7-minute think to castle, she did play the next move right away. E takes d4. But I knew what I was going to reply here. It's what I should have played earlier. Like, instead of castling, I should have played d4. And I played e5 here. Now, again, I think cd is the same thing. I think these moves transpose, but I always play e5 in these positions. I don't know. It's more forced. And yeah, there's no good move here for black. She played knight e8. I took on d4. And she played bishop e7. So this was kind of an interesting position. Like, at this point, I was feeling good. I felt that I was better. Like, I thought I had to be better. How much better? I'm not sure. +1, +1.5 maybe. But she also kind of, like, her position is not committed, you know? I could overextend myself if I'm not careful. And so I spent 8 minutes on my reply here. Because how do you continue here? And I'm just reading my notes. Yeah, the main reason I spent so much time here is because regardless of what I played, I wasn't sure how I was going to respond to d6. Because that must be her follow-up. Breaking my pawn duo in the center, opening up her light squared bishop. And yeah, I didn't know how I was going to respond. And so yeah, I spent 8 minutes on my reply. And the move I made still didn't have an answer, or at least a comfortable answer against d6, but there was nothing I could do to avoid d6 or to punish it. Yeah, so that kind of worried me. Like, looking at it right now, it might not seem very worrying, but in a tournament situation, that's kind of worrying, because it's like all of a sudden my advantage here could just diminish it. Not even diminish, just evaporate immediately. Anyways, I played knight c3, just developing a piece, and she did play d6. And I was quite happy with my next move here. I didn't see it right away. In fact, let's see how long I spent on this move. Move 12. Yeah, wow. I spent 11 minutes. I spent 11 minutes on my reply here, because again, that d6 was really bothering me. So between this move and the last move, yeah, I spent 19 minutes between these two moves. But the move I found, I was quite happy with it. So I played bishop d5. Not the first move that comes to mind, because it kind of seems like a one move threat, right? But there is some venom to it. Well, first of all, black can't ignore it, because I'm going to take the knight. And if black plays something like queen d7, well, this just seems, whoops. How do I draw a circle? So this just seems misplaced. Possibly it's not. Maybe queen d7 is not actually as bad as it looks, but it probably is. I'm wondering if we can play e6. e6 f takes. No. I don't know, but it feels awkward for him. Yeah, I'm not sure if you could play queen d7 and then bishop b7 next move. Seems wrong though, right? Yeah, and what? Then he plays knight a5. I'm curious. I'm going to turn on the engine here about this queen d7. Yeah, it's not the top choice. Yeah, there's no clear response, but it's just awkward overall. Computer's recommending rook e1, knight g5, bishop g5, any of these moves. It's just awkward. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, I like bishop d5, and it gave her something to think about, I thought, because it's not simple to respond. If bishop b7, my plan was, I believe, e6. I think that was my plan. And then if f6, I don't know. It just seemed like I could be annoying there. I can't remember if I was committing to e6 there or not. Yeah. So so in the game though, she played bishop d7. And which is what I figured. And then I played bishop f4. So Stockfish 16.1, which came out a few days ago, prefers other moves here for white, but I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. I mean, this is a pretty, I don't know, pretty natural move to play, and I don't want to burn too much time. I just wanted to get this bishop out of its starting square, and then open up the c file to maybe do some work on c6. So, yeah, it's not one of the top engine choices, but it's what I played. She played rook b8, just getting off of this pin so that the knight can now freely move. I guess it also helps support the b pawn push if it wants. And I played rook e1. And then she played a move which I did not consider. Knight b4. And I thought for 8 minutes on my reply, and this is starting to add up because after my move, well, I have an hour and 9 minutes left. I guess I still have plenty of time. But yeah, I thought for 8 minutes on my reply. I forget why I spent so much time here. I think I didn't like the possible play that black might have after bishop e4 and then f5. So I'll put that on the board. This might have concerned me a little bit. You know, if I take en passant, I'm just helping her develop here. And if I don't take en passant, well, I have to move the bishop somewhere. And I guess I might have to put it on b1. And yeah, I don't know. I wasn't sure about this. Maybe she takes on e5. Well, even this might be fine for me, but I don't know. It was a little unclear. And so I was kind of scared to go bishop e4. Yeah, so I went bishop b3. And I didn't consider what she could have played here, and she played bishop f5. And this started to concern me, actually. I wasn't concerned the second she played it, but after a couple minutes looking at it, I started to get more and more concerned. Now, the engine says that I actually have many ways to deal with this, but I was actually finding no ways for a while. Like at first I thought I was okay, but again, the more I looked at it, the more worried I got. So, but the funny thing is, she's not actually threatening to do anything on c2. It's really just to give the knight a square to d3. So that's the threat here. Knight d3, attacking my bishop and the b2 pawn. And I was having trouble finding a way to deal with that. Because what do you do? Right? And that's when I was starting to get worried. I'm like, wait. Like, there must be a way to deal with this, but what? So I'm not sure if you at home are finding a good solution for white here yet. And again, I think the computer said there were many ways to deal with it, but I don't know if they were so straightforward. So in the game, I ended up playing rook d3 or rook e3. So simply defending d3, caveman style. I'm going to put on the engine because I didn't write in my notes here what the actual other ways to defend were. Yeah, so there were some more complicated ways like d5, which I never would have considered. And then if knight e3, knight d4, and now we have an anchor point for c6. We're also hitting the bishop. So there's that's a clearance move there. There was also bishop g3, just ignoring it completely, allowing knight d3, and then rook e2. So the bishop is off, and the b2 pawn is defended. Also, apparently there was rook e3 here, allowing him to take on b2, and then queen e2. Like I'm not playing these lines. Yeah, then we take here, but we give up the bishop. I don't know. I'm not playing such lines. That's way too weird. That's way too weird. And there was knight e4 as well, just blocking the bishop. But I don't know. This all seemed needlessly complicated. So I wasn't looking for such lines. And whoops. So in the game, I played rook e3. Plus, the rook can start eyeing the king side now. Okay, my opponent took on e5. And I took with the knight. So, yeah, I do remember thinking here for a bit. Yeah, I spent 7 minutes on my reply. Yeah, because even here... No, yeah. So I didn't want to take what's a D pawn because I didn't want to trade queens. So I was probably debating between bishop takes and knight takes. Yeah, bishop takes e5. I don't know. Yeah, it just didn't really seem to lend itself to anything. So in the game, I did go knight takes e5. And she played bishop d6, which is a mistake. And I spent another 8 minutes on this move. And after my reply... Hang on. Yeah, after my reply, I was down to 38 minutes. So that's actually a big jump. Like within the past like 4, because to give some context, 4 moves ago, I had an hour and 6 minutes. After my next move, I have 38 minutes. So yeah, I spent 8 minutes on this reply, and it's mostly because I spent a very long time looking at knight takes f7. But ultimately, I didn't play knight takes f7 because I felt it wasn't great after rook takes. So this was my idea. Bishop takes f7, king takes f7, queen b3. Wait, was it this? Yeah, and then he can't block, right? So then after the king f8, then I take the bishop. I don't... Yeah, so I take the bishop so that it stops defending. And so it's also not attacking my bishop on f4 that's undefended. And then after queen d6, that's as far as I saw, and I just ended my calculation there. So let me just do that again because it was kind of wobbly. So that's what I was looking at. I kept looking at knight f7 here. And it was... There's a lot to calculate because my bishop is hanging here, right? So I had to... Yeah, there was stuff to calculate. So I was looking at knight takes f7. Yeah, rook takes f7, bishop takes f7, king takes f7, queen b3 check, king somewhere. Note that the king can only go to, well, 3 squares, but it doesn't make sense to go to g6. So, yeah, it only has... Because I'm controlling the e-file, right, with the rook, and my queen's controlling this diagonal. So after the king moves somewhere, it doesn't exactly matter where, then I get rid of this undefended bishop by trading it off. Queen takes, which defends his knight, and I ended it there. But I failed to look one move deeper. And yeah, there's a winning continuation here. Can you find it? Rook f3. So here we just pick up the bishop, right? g6, we have g4. So I just missed rook f3 at the end of that calculation. And so I could have taken on f7. Now, is that the best move? I forget if it was actually the best move. I'm going to look it up with the engine, turning the engine on. It's actually not. No, the move I played is the best move. But this did work, though. But I ended up playing the best move, which was, drum roll, a3. And the reason is because it's because what happened. Yeah, because the knight has nowhere to go. So if he goes to c6, I just go knight takes c6. Ugh. My jaw is sore. Now I'm getting a lisp. Yeah, so if knight c6, I can go knight takes c6, and if he takes on f4, I take his queen. I'll be on his queen. And so in the game, my opponent Abigail took on e5. But yeah, the reason a3 is good here is because I don't take with the bishop or the pawn, but the rook. And now her bishop is under attack and her knight is still under attack. And she can't defend both pieces. So yeah, I saw all that back here. That's partly why I spent 8 minutes on this move, because I kept looking at knight f7. I looked at some other stuff too. And I was looking at other ideas. But I played a3. I played a3 because I recognized that the knight can't go anywhere. It was here. I played a3 because I recognized the knight can't go anywhere. The best she could do is take my knight first, but then I had rook takes. So let me get rid of the arrows here. So here she played knight d6. She didn't really have anything better. She couldn't. One of the pieces is going to drop, unfortunately for her. So she went knight d6, and I took on b4, and I was up a piece. Yay! A fall piece. She played rook c8, and I took on a6. I almost didn't, because I'm like, I remember thinking like, am I just getting greedy now? Because I just want a piece. Am I going to really steal a pawn? But I figured, why not? I mean, it is a pawn. There's no other clear way to continue. And so why not take the pawn? So I took the pawn. She played queen d7. And I didn't really know what to do here. I spent 3 minutes on my reply. Didn't really know what to do. Often when I get a winning position, I finish doing all the hard work, and then I don't panic, but it's like then my brain just dies, and I'm like, now what? Now what am I supposed to do? Anyways, I played queen e2. It seemed decent, just lining up something on the e file, but I didn't really have a specific plan here. She plays rook fe8. And I played h3. I didn't want to trade because then, I'm just giving her the e file and losing a tempo. Yeah, so I played h3, just creating some luft, and also giving my bishop an escape square if it needs to be. So I'm playing very boring and safe. She played h6, and I brought my rook back to a1 because while there was, some ways that I could have maybe played rook a5 and so forth, I thought, okay, I'm up a bishop and a pawn. Let's just consolidate, before I get trapped. So rook a1. She played bishop g6, and I played rook e1. Okay. She plays rook f8. And then I took on b5. So while white is objectively okay here and knight takes b5 was fine, I did regret this decision very quickly because I felt I needlessly gave black play. Because my 3 pawns on the queen side here are weak. They're terrible. Whoops, like this, are weak. And I'm opening up the position. Again, it is fine for white, but I wouldn't play this way again. I should have just kept slowly grinding it away, grinding away here. What would I play instead? I don't know. I think I can keep my knight here. Maybe something like knight d4, right? And then pluck it into c5, something like that. What else could I consider? Maybe even just rook e7. Yeah, rook e7, and then I can trade my bishop for his knight. So stuff like that. But yeah, this I think was a little sloppy. Knight takes b5, queen takes b5, and she took on d4. And so you can kind of see, right, why taking on b5, again, while the computer says it's fine, I don't like it. Yeah, it feels like my advantage has diminished. And I spent 6 minutes on my reply here. I was down to 25 minutes, actually. No, after my move, I was down to 19 minutes. So her queen is attacking b2 and f4. How do I deal with both of them? Now, there's bishop c1, but I really did not want to play bishop c1. But I also didn't want to give away a pawn. I was trying to find a way to not lose this pawn, not lose the bishop, and not play bishop c1. That's what I was trying to do here. And at the same time, I was still regretting my decision. Like, why did I play knight takes b5? Now there's stuff I have to worry about. In the end, I did play bishop c1. Because again, I didn't want to give a pawn. And even though this is awkward and potentially a little dangerous, I don't know, there could be stuff like this. I felt I just had to re-coordinate things after, like, I had to reposition my pieces, and I didn't want to give away a pawn, because I'm up a bishop, but I was also starting to fear, even at this point, believe it or not, I was starting to fear just trades and pawn trades specifically, because if we do equal pawn trades from here, and let's say then we trade the pieces, so the queens and the rooks, if it ends up with just rook and bishop versus rook, that's a draw. And yeah, so I don't know, I was starting to get a bit worried here. She played rook a1. Oh, sorry, rook a8. Then I played queen c5. So now I'm just looking for queen trades, essentially. She played queen h4. I took on c7, and she took on b4. And honestly, I think I missed queen takes b4. I think I did miss that somehow. But yeah, she took on b4. I went queen c4. She went queen b6. Bishop e3. So now I'm starting to consolidate my position again. And happy to get the bishop off of c1 with tempo. She played queen f6. I played bishop d4. Lining up the bishop with her queen. Queen d8 and bishop c3. So once I got bishop c3 in, yeah, I felt comfortable again. Finally, I have a comfortable position again. But that was a little bit, I mean, obviously I was winning the whole way through, but it gave her more play than was necessary. I had to be a little bit careful there. So, but now I have a very, very solid position again, and she has no pawns on the queen side. So all was good again. Here she had 43 minutes. I had 14 minutes. Okay, so starting to get a bit low on the clock, and you know what happens to me when I get low on the clock. Okay, so she plays rook c8, and I played queen a6, getting off of the c file, and with a little trick to boot, threatening queen takes g6 here, because this pawn is pinned because of the bishop. She played king h7, avoiding that trap, and I played rook e7. I don't think I had anything specific in mind here. I might have. Yeah, because it might have been what followed up. Yeah, she plays rook b8, attacking my bishop. I played bishop c4. Now, she played rook a8. Had she played rook c8, what would I have done? Because that's what I thought she was going to do. I'm not sure. Maybe I would have gone back to b3. Sorry. So where was I? Yeah, so had she gone to rook c8, I might have gone back to b3, and if she repeated, I might have played rook b7. I might have done that. Maybe. I also could have put it, yeah, I might have done that. I'm not sure. But she played rook a8, and I played queen b7, threatening queen c7, forcing the queen trade. She plays rook b8, and yeah, I played queen c7. And what's beautiful about this move is it forces simplification. She can't avoid a queen trade now because I actually control everything on the d file. So I control every single square on the d file. And yeah, so she traded queens. Rook db8. At this point, I had 15 minutes. These moves were pretty quick for me to play. I doubled up on the 7th rank, hitting f7. She plays rook b8. I played bishop takes f7. I had to, before I played it, I double, triple, quadruple checked that I wasn't missing anything here. Because sometimes I do that. Like, I'm just winning and then I just give a piece away. So I really made sure, like, wait. Can I take that pawn? I've got 3 attackers on it. Can I do that? But yeah, so I was careful before I took. She recaptured, and I took, and then she resigned here. So, yeah, I mean, she could have continued on, as lots of kids like to do, but fortunately she resigned. Had she played on, what would I have done? Probably just ran the b pawn, or maybe even I might have even just simplified here. Actually, no, this is good. That might be why she even resigned here, because this just wins. This just wins. Yeah, that's probably why she just resigned there. So, so getting to the last position here. Where was it? Yeah, she resigned here. Yeah, so I managed to win my 3rd round after a unfortunate first round where I lost again due to a tactic that I missed against the 1300. 1 round 2 and then 1 round 3. And after this game, I was sitting at 2 out of 3, which 2 out of 3 ain't bad, right? So yeah, what else to say? That's going to be it for this video. Stay tuned for round 4, which I'll have up soon. I also plan on posting a couple of non-tournament game stuff from the tournament, like what I ate at the tournament. Some people like to watch that, and like I don't know, stupid stuff like the view from my hotel room. So yeah. Anyways, hope you enjoyed that game. 2 out of 3. Feeling good after this game. And yeah, I'll leave it there. Thanks for watching. Take it easy.